Um, well, as my husband was sharing on overcoming life, I thought about Peter, but before I thought about Peter, and the reason I thought about Peter, I'll tell you afterwards. But I thought about when when all Peter was saying to Jesus was like, listen, I'll fight for you, you're not going to die. And he was sharing he had his heart was there towards Jesus. But that wasn't what Jesus was talking about. The things Jesus was talking about were spiritual things. And he said, get thee behind me, Satan. And I always often wondered, how could that be something that's easy for Peter? Because I know for me, I would probably take that like, you calling me Satan? I didn't say anything. I've been with you this whole time, and that's what you calling me? Man, forget you. And I wondered, what Peter's thoughts were, because when Jesus did that, he didn't just do it quietly and took Peter to the side and said, get thee behind me, Satan. He said it with all the other disciples that were present, with everybody present, that he said that to him. And I was just thinking about putting myself in Peter's place and how Peter had to make a decision. And obviously, Peter made the decision to stay with Jesus no matter what. He didn't walk off. He didn't get an attitude. He didn't. But I'm really sure, I'm almost right. He's human just like we are. I'm pretty sure he had some thoughts and he had to make a decision. I don't think Peter was this superhuman being. I mean, nothing doesn't bother me. I mean, when they told Jesus, how many times are we supposed to forgive somebody that come against us? 7 times? Jesus said no. 70 times? 7 times. You have that. It's a constant forgiving and letting go and walking past things. And so I knew that the disciples, they weren't some superhuman beings. They had thoughts, they had issues, they had voices, they had things that come to their mind too, that when things were spoken, how they felt about stuff. So I say that because when my husband got upset about me fanning, I'm quietly fanning because I was hot. And he got upset about the distraction. And I had to make a decision. Now, am I going to be combative and be like, what's your problem? I'm fanning. It's not making any noise. No one can hear it on the tape. Only you making a big deal over it. I could go back and forth. But I was about to open my mouth and I just shut it. I had to make the decision to shut it because, like he said, I had all kind of things in my mind that I could have said and would have said in previous times. I would have said something because that's what my flesh would do prior to increasing and learning and growing. And it is a humility with that. And at times, I know for me, it's like, people always say men have egos or whatever. I don't think it's a gender thing. I think it's a human flesh thing where we have to feel like we have to flex if somebody try to come against what our ego is, and then no one wants to back down. And that's how you get arguments. That's how you get contention, because no one wants to back down and be the bigger person and say, okay, no problem. Like my husband was saying, you get over it, you just walk, oh, okay, all right. Okay, well, you be blessed, and you just overcome it because you're not getting into that combative state with that person. And when you do that, it diffuses situations because at some point, one of us got to be the bigger person. One of us have to be the person that's going to be like, okay, no problem. And like he said, studying to be quiet. That's a humility, because I wasn't trying to study to be quiet when he was telling me don't fan. Like, what you talking about? Why are you telling me that? I'm a grown person. If I want to fan because I'm hot, that shouldn't distract you, and those were those voices, those thoughts that was coming to me. But I had to sit there and be quiet and just let it go, and to be able to come and talk freely and not have an attitude in front of the camera like, I ain't speaking till they forget you. You trying to act funky with me for what? Because I wanted to fan? And it's like, it wasn't even about that. It was just a bigger picture. It was how I was going to respond. And it was a test from the Lord to see how I was going to respond, because he was already in the middle of taping. Was I going to respond where we got to cut the tape off because we're going back and forth at each other with it? And, that didn't happen. I thank God for that. Because it would have meant that I would have to take that test again and again and again until I overcome me and overcoming this life, and not being so reactive to maybe what someone says, how someone says it, or what they do. And I'm seeing as time goes by and as I'm growing, where the more I stay quiet to a situation and just let it ride itself out, don't give attention to it, the more it becomes non-existent, and therefore it takes away the power from that individual from trying to have power over me. I mean, it's like, I thought about it we even talked about it before we started the taping, when I said, my husband was talking about how it takes that power away from the person, and I remember how the Lord, how he helped me with that in a situation where we took the girls to camp, because again, we've said this before, we're a blended family and it's our week, and we took them to camp. And on our week, these are our instructions. You don't get to go on trips or whatever without our knowing about it or whatever. If we decide that you don't get to go on a field trip with the camp because we don't like the type of field trip that they're offering, and we don't want to contribute our money to that, you can't go on that. And so it's our week, and I get up there to go pick the children up after work. I get off early, I get up there to go get them, and they're not there. I didn't mean they're not here. Where are they? Well, they went on you guys pay for them to go on a field. We didn't pay for them to go on a field trip. So where are they? What field trip, and what time are they supposed to be back? And in the meantime, their mom is sitting over on the next side, and she's sitting there because she knew she was the one that paid for them to go on that trip on our week. So now I'm inconvenienced because she interfered on a week that's not hers. And I saw her sitting there, and I knew she was the one that paid for it. I said, well, listen, I didn't go and say anything to her. I didn't even talk to her. I talked to the head of the director of the camp. I called my husband, explained to him what was going on. We talked to the camp director, and we explained to them, listen, we've shared this with you guys before, but we'll share it with you again. When it's our week, the girls know when it's our week. You can talk to them. They'll let you know whose week they're on. I said, but I will also let you know, because you'll see my name on the signature pad for dropping them off and picking them up. Going forward, you have to communicate with us. You find out first. They don't sign up for anything unless you talk to us first. And so that was all cleared up and everything. But what I saw was that I didn't engage with her. I didn't go back and forth with her, why you did this and how come you did that. I didn't have to do that. My silence in and of itself now prompts her to want to be accommodating, that she has to call my husband, well, can you apologize to her for blah, 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 because he had to talk with her and say, hey, listen, this is our week. You understand that this is an inconvenience to us because you did this on our week. We don't interfere with your week. Don't interfere with our week. When we have the girls, there are things that my wife has to do when she picks them up. There's a lot of things we have to take care of after that when we pick them up. So could you not do that? Oh, well, okay, yeah, well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was on your week, blah, blah, blah. We let her have it. And he talked to her and explained to her, we can't have this again. And so she understood, and she had an understanding. And it was because of how the Father allowed my husband to be able to minister to that situation and have me not to react to the situation, just deal with it as it was. Just wait for them. When they come, we pick them up and we go home with them. And that's it. And so I saw, where that overcoming, it's a humility, because my ego could have been right there and I could have gone head to head like, what's your problem? Why? I mean, like, why? Why are you doing that? But instead it was, let me just talk to the people that are in charge concerning the situation, find out what time they're going to be here, and I just go and I wait for them to come. And when you see the overcoming is like a daily process, because I don't want to have to keep failing at overcoming. It's a process, because if you fail at it, you're gonna have that same situation come up again where you have to pass it. And when that happened this morning, that was good for me in the beginning of the taping. It was good and bad. It was good in the spirit for me, but in the flesh, it wasn't. It didn't feel comfortable, because I was like, didn't see what I was doing. I was so utterly wrong in that sense. But like I said, there are times when the Father, He puts certain tests before us, and He allows certain things to happen to see how we're gonna respond to it. Are we gonna respond, or are we gonna be are we gonna react and react or respond to this thing in a negative way, or are we gonna buckle down or knuckle down, or how you say, bow down to the situation in meekness, in a meek and quiet spirit, where He says study to be quiet and allow it to write itself out, where you still maintain your own character and the character of Christ, and not lose that character and become what was before you, and become that. Like at work, becoming nasty, like people are being nasty with you. The way they respond to you is nasty. So now you want to respond back to them nasty. Like, I'm trying to respond to you I'm trying to talk to you in a professional manner, and you're responding nasty in your email and in the way you talk. And why? Why are you being unprofessional? Why can't I talk to you on a professional level without you being nasty? Now you're making me nasty. And it's like, I can't go there. I have to overcome that. If they want to be nasty, I had to talk to myself one day at work, because this person was like really nasty, and I didn't respond to them. It was through email communications or instant messaging and so forth and so on, and it's like, why? And I had to talk to myself. Don't say anything. Don't say anything, Renice. Just shut your mouth. Don't have anything to say. Just ignore it. Let people be who they are. If they're nasty, let them be nasty. That is their right to be nasty. But I don't have the right, as a daughter of the Father, to be nasty back to them. I don't have that right. So if they want to be nasty, I have to be okay with someone being who they are, or entertaining whatever spirit they want to entertain. I just can't entertain that spirit with them. When they come out of that spirit and they want to be kind, I could at that time say good afternoon, good morning, good day. I don't have to be nasty. But I can't entertain the spirit that they're entertaining, and therefore I have to really back out of it. I don't have to even respond to them. They come back nasty, no problem. I don't even respond. I don't say thank you, okay, no problem, have a good day. I don't say none of that. I just don't respond. And my silence, it doesn't give them any power to say I said something in a certain way, or I did something in a certain way, so they could go back and say something that I didn't do. Now, by me being silent and not even being responsive to those emails or those communications, they have no power, because I didn't respond. I let them be who they were. And at times it's very hard to humble yourself. That used to be a struggle for me, to humble myself when I know I'm right about something and someone's wrong about it. I have to show them, like, you're wrong. You're totally wrong. I don't think I'm the only one that does it. I think we all have been there, where we have to let the person know, I am right, you are wrong. And because this is not what happened. Or someone lies on you, and it takes humility to be like, okay, what do I do with this situation? Do I defend myself? People lied on Jesus all day long, and they said He did not even open up His mouth to those accusations. Not one time. And the Father I had to keep taking that test over and over and over again when I was in ministry full time, because I had people that would lie and say I said or did something that I did not do. And I found myself back and forth in front of authority, defending myself, and I couldn't win because they chose to believe the lie over the truth that was standing in front of them, where I was the most truthful and most faithful and most committed to them. When I would hear these same people say negative, nasty things about the same people that are in authority that's reprimanding me over a lie. Now, I can't go and tell them in my faithfulness to them, this somebody said that, because they choose to believe that liar over me. And it was a difficult challenge for me. It was a really difficult thing for me to not defend myself. And over the Lord, I'll be sitting in that chair and the Father would say within me, don't defend yourself. Don't defend yourself. Stop it. Stop it. And it took a while. I eventually got it. But I understand what it means now to be, how challenging it could be to humble yourself in situations. And I just thank the Father for this overcoming life that He has presented to us. All we have to do is tap into it, walk in it. I mean, I know for me, I have to make a decision to want to walk in this overcoming life that He's given to me. Jesus says, be of good cheer. Do not be afraid. Be at peace, because I have overcame them. And He taught us how He did it. And so, here's my husband. That's what I got out the message today. So here's my husband with the final close.
Thank you, wife. Yeah. Our Father desires to close now.